if I were to tell you our worldview and how we view government, I can tell you it is like night and day. And if you look at our voting records, this will be proved out. My voting record proves that I'm a true capitalist. I'm a true constitutional conservative. Mary does not prove that. Mary tends to lean towards looking for government solutions, like the bailout, like earmark spending. I always lean towards finding solutions, utilizing the free market. Now these are kind of tough words that I'm sharing with you tonight, but I'm sharing them with you for a very important reason. You need to know the differences between me and Mary, because I can't get her into debate. I'm not able to get this out in the public unless I just stand right before you like the other night and tell you. I'm opposed to having Puerto Rico to be the 51st state. She sponsored that piece of legislation. That blows my mind. I'm against the FDA being in charge of the tobacco. Now think what that bill was all about. Now, the regulatory FDA, which is supposed to make sure that we have safe food and drugs, and they put their stamp of approval, they are now the regulatory agency for tobacco. What kind of sense does that make? Other than the fact it costs businesses over $40 billion to make this happen. Now is the FDA going to put a stamp of approval on a pack of cigarettes saying, smoke them if you got them? You see, these kind of things don't make sense. And I am well grounded in what I believe. I know why I believe what I believe. And my entire form of governing is about leadership. And that's what's at stake this year in this governor's race. And Oklahomans are going to have a very clear choice in the candidates. Very clear choice. And you get to make the decision. You know, this is the great American way. And I want to ask you for your support. And I share kind of a lot of times when I talk to folks how I feel in this race. I feel like I'm in a David and Goliath battle. And I am. I know what I have to overcome. I get all that. You know, I'm not out, and actually if you go to my website, this will be proved out. I'm not asking the endorsements of politicians. I'm asking for your endorsement. I'm asking for the people's endorsement. A lot of politicians, they go from politician to politician to get as many of them on their list to say, look who's endorsing me. I've not asked for one single endorsement from any politician. I know that may cost me a few votes. I get that. But you're the ones that matter to me. I'm a different kind of an elected official as you will ever meet, I assure you. And if you look at my material, and I got some over here, you'll see a little phrase on most of that, no strings attached. Folks, I've been serving you in the Senate for 8 years, and I know I owe no one nothing. That's not very good grammar, but that's a fact. I have continually led, and I have been a leader in my caucus, and yet I know I owe no one. And I want to run down just a few things because I get scolded every time I don't tell you my accomplishments, and I'm going to end with this. Just so you'll know that I truly have been blessed as a leader. And part of what I'm getting ready to share with you, I've got this legislation passed with a Democrat-controlled Senate. But I've got passed things like the repeal of the Real ID Act, which protects your personal identity. That didn't just leave the state of Oklahoma. We were the first state to opt out as a state. That bill was so unconstitutional, it violated the First, Fourth, and Ninth, and the 10th Amendment. Blatantly unconstitutional. Since that time, 37 other states has copied my legislation, and they've opted out of Real ID as well. Janet Napolitano stood before the cameras about 4 months ago and said, Real ID is dead because the states just wouldn't cooperate. You see, you don't have to cooperate, folks. when you stand, you don't have to cooperate with the feds. Here in this state, as long as we stand on constitutional principles, state sovereignty, a blatant violation of our state sovereignty. I led the state and the nation, frankly, again, in stopping the NAFTA superhighway, this international system from coming up through the state of Oklahoma.
Thank you.
I got the Taxpayer Transparency Act passed, where all of the taxpayer dollars now are posted online, openbooksok.gov. And we have had that's been 3 or 4 years ago now, and each session we continue to have more things put on that. I think David's put some things on that the website where this year I got another bill passed to add education spending. All the education dollars will now be posted on the Taxpayer Transparency side. I authored the 10th Amendment resolution. This year I authored the opt-out of the Obamacare bill, which, by the way, will be on the ballot for you to vote on. I'm leaving out 2 or 3, and I'll think of them when I'm eating my cake. But I wanted to just share with you not only which one. Oh, my firearms freedom, my firearms freedom bill, which protected gun manufacturers, protected our Second Amendment rights. As a matter of fact, I got the GOA endorsement, Gun Owners of America, got their endorsement this year. And they wrote a 1.5-page endorsement and said that my legislation was the boldest piece of Second Amendment legislation in the entire nation this year. That is a kind of leadership that I have brought to the state of Oklahoma, being a senator from Owasso. And I assure you, my leadership out of the governor's office will be just as strong. It will be just as powerful. It will be just as meaningful. Almost everything that I do is to limit the power of the politician and empower the people. And I'll end with this. I said that 3 times as I continue to close. That's my favorite quote from Thomas Jefferson. He said, "I'd rather be exposed to the inconveniences of attending to too much liberty than to those attending too small a degree of it." Now let me put that little Okie speak this evening. You see, our founding fathers, they understood something very valuable, something very important. They knew that our freedom had to be protected. And sometimes it's messy. It's inconvenient for you guys to be here tonight. I get that. We could all be doing something else. But my hat's off to you that you are here, hopefully to determine who you're going to support in this next governor's race. But our founding fathers realized it's inconvenient and to pass it down. But with everything within me, folks, I am a man on a mission tonight to secure those blessings one more time. I want my kids to have what I had. I want my kids to experience what my granny and granddad secured for me and gave me, what my dad and my mom, how they secured those blessings. And I'm going to give you my 2 campaign promises. And be leery of politicians that will promise you the world, because it just doesn't happen. But here's my 2 campaign promises. I will tell you the truth. Any issue that you want to know, any issue as I understand it, I will tell you the truth. And my second promise is, as governor, I will do everything within my constitutional authority to protect your freedom. Because everything revolves around that. Our jobs, our families, and we can no longer continue to allow elected officials to violate their sworn oath. I swear to uphold the Constitution, and then they vote differently than that and try and make you think that they didn't. We've got to stop it, folks. You have an opportunity, and I'm asking for your support tonight. Thank you. God bless you. Now, my most favorite time of any kind of talk like this is when I go into the town hall type meeting. This is what I love to do. I like to talk about things that interest you. So
tell us how you really feel.
Yes, ma'am.